All right, let's take a look. Let's get started on motherfucking Bobbert Menendez, dude. Indicted on bribery charges. The absolute GOAT. Okay, the GOAT of New Jersey.
New Jersey Democratic Senator Bob Menendez has been indicted by a federal grand jury. The senator and his wife are being charged with accepting hundreds of thousands of dollars in bribes. Let's bring in senior investigative reporter Aaron Katursky for more on that. Aaron, what's the latest?
Federal prosecutors here in New York, Diane, have charged Senator Menendez and his wife with having a corrupt relationship with 3 New Jersey businessmen, and they outline in the indictment the alleged steps Menendez took to benefit those businessmen in exchange for bribes that took the form of cash payments, a car, a no-show job, even gold bars and the payment of a mortgage by these businessmen, according to federal prosecutors. Menendez is alleged to have given the Egyptian government sensitive U.S. government information to...
More like Biz Menendez? No, he's just doing... Yeah, dude, Bob Menendez is so funny because, like, Bob Menendez and his corruption, it has been known for a very long time because he already did this, right? He already did exactly this and was criminally prosecuted, okay? And it didn't go anywhere, okay? So then he decided to do it even in a more comical capacity with like gold bars and shit. But also, the other side of this story that I personally love is that he still got like committee assignments. You know what I mean? Like, it's hilarious to me that the fucking Democratic Party was like, no, this guy that was actually fucking criminally prosecuted for bribery, we have to have him here, okay? We have to. There is nothing, we can't have anyone better than Bob Menendez. It is so funny that they were like, we have to have him. In 2019, Senator Menendez proposed to his girlfriend, Nadine, by singing to her in front of the Taj Mahal in India. This occurred over a year after prosecutors say the couple, who met at a New Jersey IHOP, initiated their scheme to use Menendez's position to aid the government of Egypt's brutal dictator. These hands could hold the world, and it'll never be enough. By the way, Bob Menendez is a perfect representation of someone who, like the classic bit that I have where in America, there's only 2 nationalities, like 2 ethnicities. You're either Mexican or Italian, right? And when you're in the tri-state, or like when you're close in proximity to the tri-state, you become Italian. And when you're close to the Southwest, you become Mexican, right? Now, Bob Menendez is Latinx, okay? That's what he said. He was like, oh, they're trying to put a Latinx man down or whatever. But like, no, he is so Italian. Like, I never in my entire life have ever seen him as a Latino man. I have only thought of him as an Italian man, okay? This, in my opinion, proves, okay? This, in my opinion, proves that, like, it doesn't matter. If you're in the fucking tri-state, if you're close in proximity to the tri-state, you are literally Italian. Never be enough for me.
Woo. Oh my God!
Whoa!
Yes. Swag, dude.
Oh.
Wow. Oh wow.
Oh my God. Oh.
He's Cuban, which is pretty much Mexican plus Italian. No, he's not Cuban. I don't believe it. He is Italian. Please do not tell me that Senator Bobbert Menendez is anything but Italian. I will be pushing back against that. He's Italian. He's from New Jersey. You can't be Cuban in New Jersey. You can't be Mexican in New Jersey. You're Italian. So, let's get started. Senator Bob Menendez was charged Friday with secretly aiding the authoritarian regime of Egypt and trying to thwart the criminal prosecution of a friend in exchange for gold bars and cash as prosecutors unsealed the corruption indictment that accuses him of using foreign affairs influence for personal gain. I mean, Good thing he doesn't have any like serious position of power or influence in the Democratic Party is what you might be saying. Or maybe you're asking, oh, wait, fuck, he's the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. That's crazy. That's crazy. Oh, wait, surely he's never done this before. This is a first off. Oh, this is the second in 8 years against the powerful 69-year-old New Jersey Democrat. What? You mean to tell me that this happened and the Democrats were like, no, this is our guy. You don't understand. He needs to be here. He needs to be in this position of power. He needs to be on the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. The indictment coming years after an earlier criminal case against Menendez ended with a deadlocked jury. Also charges the senator's wife and 3 New Jersey businessmen who authorities say showered the couple with money, gold, and a luxury car in exchange for his actions on their behalf. Menendez is also accused of trying to derail the criminal case against one of the businessmen by pushing to install Philip R. Sellinger as U.S. Attorney for New Jersey because Menendez believed he could influence Sellinger. Prosecutors say he also tried to use his position of power to try to meddle in the separate investigation by New Jersey Attorney General's office. Authorities found more than $100,000 worth of gold bars in Menendez's home and $480,000 in cash. Much of it hidden in closets, clothing, and a safe, prosecutors say. This is the most Sopranos-coded shit. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Tell me a lie. Tell me he's Cuban. Tell me he's Latino. Tell me he is not an Italian man. When I see him get bribed like a fucking cartoon villain with gold bars, I can understand in a teeny tiny way. I understand why Republicans don't see Trump as guilty. Yes. Yes. Holy fuck. There's more, and there's photos, by the way, which we are going to look at. Photos included in the indictment show cash that was stuffed in envelopes found in jackets bearing Menendez's name. Authorities found a Google search by Menendez for how much is 1 kilo of gold worth and DNA of one of his co-defendants on an envelope in Menendez's home filled with thousands of dollars of cash, they said. Prosecutors allege... Oh, here, there you go. Prosecutors allege that Menendez took repeated actions to benefit Egypt despite U.S. government misgivings over the country's human rights record that in recent years has prompted Congress to impose restrictions on aids. His step includes ghostwriting a letter to fellow senators encouraging them to lift a hold on $300 million in aid to Egypt, as well as transmitting non-public information to Egyptian officials about military issues, the indictment says. Menendez, in an emailed statement, accused prosecutors of misrepresenting the normal work of a congressional office. For years, the forces behind the scenes have repeatedly attempted to silence my voice and dig my political grave, Menendez said. Since this investigation was leaked nearly a year ago, there has been an active smear campaign of anonymous sources and innuendos to create an air of impropriety where none exists. He said he has been falsely accused of accepting bribes and will not be distracted from work in the Senate. David Schertler, a lawyer for Menendez's wife, Nadine, said she denies any criminal conduct and will vigorously contest these charges in court. Menendez appears to be the first sitting U.S. senator in U.S. history to have been indicted on 2 unrelated criminal matters, according to the Senate Historical Office. He faces re-election next year in a bid to extend his 3-year career in Washington as Democrats hold a narrow majority in the Senate. Egypt has long been a top recipient of U.S. government aid, more than $1 billion a year, thanks to the overriding American national security interest in the region, but the relationship has been tested by concerns over human rights abuses in the country. As chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee, Menendez's influence on executive branch decisions on military spending and aid to foreign countries, including Egypt, as well as the ability to recommend holds on financing that the State Department historically respects. Menendez is saying he did everything right and they indicted him. Okay? I love this. This is my favorite type of story. Okay? It's just like such clear-cut cases of corruption. Okay? Menendez, I'm going to do that $99 million international arms deal you wanted. Oh, by the way, I love that he's also saying there's no wrongdoing here because they have him dead to rights, as always. Here's what happened. Nadine Menendez, tell Will, Hannah, I'm going to sign off this sale to Egypt today. 120 million target practice rounds and 10,000 rounds tank ammunition, $99 million. Note, these tank rounds are for tanks they have had for many years. They're using these in the Sinai for the counterterrorism campaign. Nadine Menendez forwarded his text to Hannah, who forwarded to the Egyptian official. The Egyptian official replied with a thumbs up emoji. It's so fucking good, dude. How do you expect justice even in these cases? Where's the hope? Where's the hope? Why the fuck should we care? He's gonna bond out and do the same shit. He might actually be going to jail, I hope. Or at least, like, he'll get a fucking slap on the wrist. He will not be able to get reelected. There's that. Actually, you know what? I don't even fucking know because New Jersey is just, like, they don't give a fuck. And, who did Menendez run against? Like, I know the Democratic Party was, like, actively pushing Menendez. Who, by the way, is one of the most conservative Democrats in the Democratic Senate, okay? Like, I want you to understand, it's not like it's not like this guy is like an unknown entity. The Democratic Party has defended him vociferously, okay? Defended his position. I mean, he's the chairman of the Foreign Senate Relations Committee. He literally is the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. That's it. That's all you need to know about, like, how ridiculous the motherfucking Republican, I call them the Republican, sorry, the Rethuglican style demon rats are, okay? Oh my God. He's George Santos Sr.? No, George Santos would never. George Santos has done, like, small schemes, okay? Small schemes. This man has been utilizing the powers that the Democratic Party have offered him to fill his pockets with literal gold bullions, like he's Daffy Duck or something. What's Donald Duck's, like, rich uncle that dives into the fucking pool of coins, like Scrooge McDuck. Yeah, he's just crazy. It's comical, man. It's comical. He had, like, because it's all illegal, illicit gains. So he just doesn't know what to do with it. So he doesn't have a good washing operation. So he's just, like, stuffing the pockets of his jackets, homie. Scrooge McDuck, no relation to Donald Duck, racist. Okay, my bad. I don't know the familiar relations with, like, the Duck families. Okay, fucking shut up. All right, but yeah.
Help his friend, businessman Wael Hanna, maintain an exclusive contract to export halal meat to Egypt. He is also alleged to have tried to disrupt a criminal investigation undertaken by the Attorney General of New Jersey into another businessman. And, Diane, he's alleged to have recommended to President Biden someone to be the United States Attorney in New Jersey that Menendez thought he could influence because that office was conducting an investigation into another businessman with whom Menendez had a relationship.
Now, Aaron, this is the second indictment for Menendez on corruption charges. So now that this indictment has been handed up, could the earlier case be revisited?
I don't think so. That earlier case in 2015 ended in a mistrial, and there Menendez was accused of doing things under the power of his office to help his friend Solomon Melgen, a doctor. And in that case that ended in a mistrial, the judge ended up acquitting Menendez on some of the counts himself. And so prosecutors kind of dropped it. Here now, this is a whole separate thing. Menendez is charged with, and it's wholly separate from the earlier case.
So I want to explain something to you guys, and I've talked about this quite a bit, okay? It is very difficult to do bribery outside of the boundaries of what is legally permissible. Okay, this is the old one, by the way. Why is that the case? Because America has codified and legalized bribery in the form of corporate lobbying. Okay? So when you actually get hit with this, that means, like, you've gone above and beyond. And in the case of Robert Menendez, he's done it multiple times. That is what is fucking nutty, okay? Like, he got caught and was like, nah, fuck that. I'm going to keep doing it because, like, whatever, right? And the other aspect of this corruption and bribery situation is that he can always just say, well, I was going with what I was going to do anyway. Why can I not just get some cash in the form of gifts? So the hilarity in the situation is that, like, he could have just reported the money that he was getting. He could have found a legal way to get aid or get campaign contributions. Okay, he could have just done all of that and then just spent his campaign contributions on whatever the fuck and write it off as though he was campaigning again for his fourth senatorial run, right? He didn't do any of that. He didn't do any of that when it is literally legal to do most of this shit. Okay? It's so funny. He literally just didn't fucking care. I feel like it could have been the thrill of it. You know what I mean? It could have been the thrill of it. I just don't. Did Homeboy get Dinesh D'Souza? No, Dinesh D'Souza did the other thing that is also basically impossible to get arrested for, which is campaign finance laws, violating existing campaign finance laws. Okay? It's like, this is two sides of the fucking stupid coin. If you're a politician, it's wild that you are receiving bribes when bribery is legal. If you are just a guy who wants to bribe a politician on the other side, on the Dinesh D'Souza side, it's wild that you just didn't do it through the legal protocols. They made it so that it's legal. Like, they made it so that you can do it. It's above the books. It doesn't make sense. Plausible deniability out the window with his name on the jacket like that. Yeah, he's just going to say, listen, Your Honor, you don't understand. 1, I'm Italian. 2, I need to be gifting subs for all my New Jerseyans out there in the Hasanabi broadcast because at the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break. That, in my opinion, is the biggest crime. That there's a 3-minute ad break and people actually end up watching the 3-minute ad break instead of avoiding it by subscribing. Someone must have convinced them BRICS would take over the world. Yeah. The leader, the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee thinks BRICS is a serious threat. Miss Susie B, thank you for the 5 get the subs, allowing 5 people to no longer see the top of the hour ad break. Here's a 3-minute ad break now.
So what are the next steps in this case?
I'm gonna pee.
At some point, Menendez is going to have to come here to New York in order to surrender, to face the charges and appear for an arraignment. We assume he would enter a plea of not guilty. We know that his attorneys in recent days and weeks had been trying to negotiate with the government not to bring this indictment, but apparently those efforts failed, and the result is this indictment that includes a number of different photographs of gold bars that Menendez allegedly took and a jacket with his name on it stuffed with cash. Diane.
All right, Aaron Katersky in New York. Aaron, thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.
And this is the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming. My name is Damian Williams, and I'm the United States Attorney here in the Southern District of New York. Today, I'm announcing that my office has obtained a 3-count indictment charging Senator Robert Menendez, his wife Nadine Menendez, and 3 New Jersey businessmen, Wael Hannah, Jose Uribe, and Fred Davies, for bribery offenses. The investigation that led to these charges has been run out of the Southern District of New York. The indictment alleges that between 28
I do, like, this is one of the very, like, pro-cop moments that you will, this is a very incredibly rare pro-cop moment on the Hasanabi broadcast, but, like, when they do this kind of stuff, I'm like, yeah, this is good. This is literally your job. Like, your job as a district attorney is to straight up do this, okay? Prosecute this kind of corruption and bring charges and ensure that justice is served. Okay? Straight up. Oh.
2018 and 2022, Senator Menendez, the senior U.S. Senator from New Jersey.
They look so sad serving justice. No, the Southern District of New York is they don't I would say they're already stretched thin. Okay? I would say that they are stretched thin in general. But specifically the Southern District of New York, when they do actually tackle somebody, when they put their fucking teeth onto someone, they rip them. They do rip them for sure. But the reason why they're stretched too thin is not necessarily because they're because they're defunded or anything. It's just that they could bring charges like this for most people. Okay, there's too much corruption going on. Scoop: Joe Biden to join the UAW workers in Michigan on Tuesday. Wow, this is huge. This is fucking huge. Thank God. Oh, speaking of Brandon, by the way, the Brandon team invited me to meet Joe Brandon. And after much consideration, I was like, if I can also do like some kind of thing with the NLRB, I would be down to do it. Okay. And I said yes to it. And then today I found out they literally said, nope, you've been rejected. Which is weird because it's like, well, why did you guys invite me in the fucking first place? And I was already like considering not doing it. So I got invited only to be told no. Which, of course, is not like the end of the world. I mean, who gives a shit? But just to hurt your feelings, they mocked you. Wait, did you like fail your security clearance or something? I would be surprised if that's the reason. I don't know what the reason is. They never tell you, I don't think. Yeah, I got Brandon blocked. I mean, I wonder why. There's like I was more shocked that they invited me to begin with. So, no Yankee wife for Hassan Law. Sorry, big dog. They found you were caught smuggling electronics into Mexico. You're on their radar at least? No, this is not the first, nor will it be the last time that this administration has this administration has like regularly blocked me from participating in shit like initiatives that they do with online content creators, which, by the way, for the record, my expectation is not to have a collaborative relationship with the Democratic Party in general, so I don't really care. But I've talked about this before. Under the Brandon administration, they built an initiative to try to get people to be more aware of vaccines and stuff like that. So, in that, they sent in Antonio Fauci to Twitch and to TikTok and blah blah blah, and obviously my name came up in that process because I am a political commentator on this platform, and the team blocked it. Same with Kamala Harris as well. Like their teams have denied it before. Didn't you meet the Surgeon General? I have met the Surgeon General. He is the only person that I have actually met on the administration side. So, has to be the 9/11 taking the China stuff? Nah, I don't think they give a shit about that kind of shit, dude. Come on. You're way too controversial for them. I mean, it's not necessarily that I'm controversial, but also on top of that, it's not like our ideals align. Like if I was a fucking DNC dick rider, I'm sure that they wouldn't give a fuck. What are you talking about? Like, I just don't think that they believe this to be a valuable collaborative relationship because I'm hypercritical anyway. If Brandon personally heard your Irish accent, he'd pick you up in his Corvette himself. What did they reach out to you for? No, they wanted me to have the opportunity to meet Brandon. But there was also, what was it? Hassan was out here promoting the vaccine for free, shaking my damn head. Should have held out for the clout bag. Yeah. There was another thing. Oh, I mean, I've talked to you guys about this before. Like, I helped I helped with radical liberal Raphael Warnock's election campaign, but I kept my involvement. I kept my involvement private, and I was not. I was not on. Like, I didn't end up doing something publicly with them because they thought that having myself or even AOC involved in that re-election campaign would have hurt his chances, which it definitely would not have. But I mean, I was like, sure, whatever. I don't give a fuck. I'll do it. Not everything you hear online about me is, especially from like people who are specifically on subreddits talking about how little I do in general. You know, it's all true. I heard you in a Swedish radio documentary with a clip from TYT about the American getting arrested in North Korea. It was cool. Yeah. What did you do with Warnock? I mean, I helped with their social media strategy a little bit. It wasn't like super significant or anything, but AOC pisses off so many establishment dick bags for advocating for the bare minimum. Is the alliance between Lula and Biden lip service, or are we buzzing? No, Brandon has been doing some good shit. Like, actually, did it pay or was it pro boner? No, of course I didn't get paid. I was not expecting any payment, and I don't care. I don't do stuff like that for pay. Why the fuck would I do that for pay? Climate Core was good. Were you behind this tweet? Yes, I played a role in this. That's not even a joke. Not the tweet itself. Obviously, I would never fucking tweet something so cringe, but you already have money. Do chatters not understand? Yeah, it's the other way around. I don't do shit for money. When I'm doing things in the political field, I don't do it for money. I'm the one who fucking knocks in that situation. I'm the one who gives money, not the other way around. Anyway, off topic for fun time. You see the trailer for the Duck Dynasty biopic? No. Read the media covers more Trump and doesn't really post Brandon W's predicting the 2024 election vibes. Yeah, there's some decent fucking labor stuff that the Brandon camp has been engaging in. Obviously, the most significant one is this one so far. Joe Biden joining the UAW workers in Michigan on Tuesday as Trump is trying to fucking go there and like talk to a select few people that they claim are a part of the UAW is going to be pretty good. Because on the one hand, you're going to see an actual fucking sitting president do something that is very significant. It's symbolic, but it's an important symbol, okay? This symbolism should not go unnoticed. Do you understand? There's a reason why sitting presidents don't go to the fucking picket line like this. UAW widens strike against GM and Stellantis, but not Ford. And the United Auto Workers on Friday widened a strike against GM and Jeep maker Stellantis out of frustration over contract talks, but did not target more Ford locations because it said negotiations with the company are progressing. This is also a very smart thing that they're doing, in my opinion, by the way. This is the Sean Fain dick riding hour, as always. So what do I mean by this? I think that the standing strike concept is pretty good. You get to continue the strike for a longer period of time. With you get to make your strike funds last longer. Not only that, but also you get to max out on the damage that you are doing to the companies. But this second thing, I think, is always good as well. Breaking through the solidarity that capital owners have as best as you possibly can is a good thing. Okay? This is a good thing. Why is this a good thing? It's a good thing because this way you get to focus on people who are not even capitulating a bit, not even budging a little bit to the reasonable demands that you're making. Okay? That's a smart move. You try to break up the solidarity that the big three has by offering certain assurances or increasing the pressure on one aspect or two of the companies out of the big three. President Biden will speak Tuesday, officially, to support the UAW, according to two people familiar with his plans, who spoke on the condition of anonymity. Barry Poggers. Because the visit hasn't been announced yet. Union leaders invited him earlier Friday to join the picket line. The union said it walked out of 38 GM and Stellantis part distribution centers in 20 states just after noon. UAW President Shawn Fain said the aim is to shut down parts of distribution until those two companies come to their senses and come to the table with a serious offer. The strike began a week ago at 3 auto manufacturing plants, one for each company. But the expansion is focused on the warehouses that send parts to dealerships and other vehicle repairs, meaning Americans who drive Jeeps and Chevy Silverados could begin to feel the strike's impact. The UAW shared videos on social media of the newly striking workers chanting, "No pay, no parts." He's having the factories that are responsible for the final touches on the cars, like paint, mirrors, go on strike, while keeping the earlier manufacturing lines still working. So all the cars will be held up at the final step in assembly. Gotta play this anytime you talk about the UAW now. Speaking alongside striking workers at Stellantis warehouse in Center Line, Michigan, Fain said the distribution centers generate a lot of profits, especially for Stellantis. Fain said the union will not widen the strike against Ford for now because Ford has made further concessions and negotiations are progressing. This is actually a good way to operate, specifically because, like I said, you're cutting through. Okay? You're cutting through. You're saying, hey, listen, these guys are negotiating. We're not going to hurt them as much. Okay? I like that. I like that a lot. Very smart. Ford has made further concessions and negotiations. He said Ford has agreed to reinstate the cost of living adjustments to wages and offer new job security provisions. The union is continuing its current strike against one Ford factory in Michigan, however. Fain also publicly invited everyone, all the way up to the President of the United States, to come to the picket line during the Facebook Live event. Michigan Democrats and other Biden allies had already been pressuring him to join the strikers. Donald Trump is also going, but not to a picket line, of course. He is not going to go to a picket line because, let's be real, Shawn Fain fucking does not like Donald Trump. So, what? Kshama Sawant had a hot take, said it wasn't smart, actually. Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see the results, okay? Shawn Fain also said Trump crosses picket lines, not walk them. He did say that. He said Trump and others like him, billionaires, are the exact people that we're striking against. Their corporate greed is the reason why we have to fucking strike. So, Kshama Sawant is a dumbass who left city council to host a podcast. Oh, it's that person. Okay, I don't care. Whatever. Who cares? This is silly. This is stupid. Donald Trump, Biden's likely 2024 presidential rival, has announced that he will hold a rally in Detroit. Of course, instead of going to the GOP debates, he's going to a rally, which in and of itself is probably a good thing on the optics side for Donald Trump, that is, except it won't be a real UAW picket line because there is no fucking way that Donald Trump would actually garner a lot of support from rank and file UAW members. Now, does this mean that there aren't UAW rank and file members that love Trump? Of course there are, except they're part of a union. They're currently engaging in collective action. There is 0% chance that union leadership would look kindly upon some of their rank and filers going to a fucking Trump rally as they are supposed to be standing in solidarity and fucking picketing. Okay? So they can't do an official... I don't think that they can do an official, picket line opportunity for Donald Trump because it would not get a lot of support at the moment. Okay? So Biden going to the picket line would be a really big move. Until Friday, the strike had targeted just one factory at each company. The broadened strike dramatically increased the footprint of the work stoppage, but in a different kind of facility. The GM and Stellantis warehouses are located near or cities across the nation: Denver, Chicago, LA, Cincinnati, Orlando, Boston, Reno, and beyond. An expanded work stoppage over wages and benefits will exacerbate disruptions to an industry that makes up about 3% of the nation's gross domestic product. As you know, they are looking for a 36% wage increase over 4 years, improved retirement benefits, more paid time off, and other perks. Full-time UAW workers today earn $18 to $32 an hour, plus annual profit-sharing bonuses that have totaled tens of thousands of dollars per worker over the last 4 years. Temporary workers earn $16 to $19 and don't get the bonuses, but they are doing the same job because temp work in the United States of America now especially has basically turned into a substitute for full-time work with less pay. Why are they able to do this? Because what the fuck else are you going to do? All of the automakers are offering raises around 20% over 4 years and other perks that they say constitute their best offers for the union in decades. They argue that they can't meet all the UAW demands and remain viable companies capable of investing in new factories needed for the costly transition to electric vehicles. Bull fucking shit. Okay? You can't say that. And by the way, this article written by multiple people, like people that I do like Jeff Stein and maybe some others, it does not immediately slap on to say that their profits have been sky high for the past 4 years and that a lot of the adjustments that they were looking for, like COLA, for example, ensuring that their cost of their pay goes up alongside inflation, was already a thing that they had, that the union bargained away specifically to help all the big three companies. This is something that they already had in their contracts that they gave up on specifically because these guys were on the verge of bankruptcy. So the unions actually bailed out these companies. And then, of course, predictably, the CEOs never, in good faith, returned the cost of living adjustment. Why would they? They take every fucking inch they can for granted. Notice that German auto workers are unionized, yet weirdly they can be competitive. Yeah, not only are they unionized, but German auto workers also literally have a seat at the board by law. Ford sent a statement Friday, is working diligently with the UAW to reach a deal that rewards our workforce and enables Ford to invest in a vibrant and growing future. GM called the strike escalation unnecessary and accused union leaders of manipulating the bargaining process for their own personal agendas. Like what? What is the personal agenda? The personal agenda of the negotiations committee at the UAW, and Sean Fain specifically, is to get the best possible contract for their rank and file, because that's how unions work. There is a democratic process at the end of this. You can't go back to your union with a shit fucking contract and expect them to vote on it and ratify it. Okay? We have now presented 5 separate economic proposals that are historic, the company said. By the way, the funniest part about this also is that they are not lying. These counters are historic only because, like, they're technically historic because they never give the nature of wage depression and the nature of the benefits going away and the nature of the compensation going away is also historically bad. Okay? So yes, if let's say you were making $100, okay, and then due to being on the verge of bankruptcy, you chose to make $80, right? You told the CEO, like, we'll go down to $80, okay? And now the company is making a shit ton of money. It's in great, its output is perfectly viable. You're raking in a fuck ton of profits. And you go back and you say, well, can we get back to like $110? And they go, no, we'll only give you $90. Well, yeah, that's fucking bullshit. That's absolutely bullshit. It questioned whether the union's leadership has ever had an interest in reaching an agreement in a timely manner. They seem more concerned about pursuing their own political agendas than negotiating in the best interest of our employees and the sustainability of our U.S. operations given the market's fierce competition. It's so interesting to me that all of these otherwise unionized factories are always fucking unionized in their own respective nations, but they can come here to the United States of America and operate facilities like in Bessemer, Alabama. I'm looking right at you, Hyundai, okay? Unionized in fucking Korea, but in America, they got children working at the fucking windshield factory, okay? How does that work? How does that work? How does that happen? How does that happen in the fucking wealthiest nation on the planet? Same with fucking Toyota. Same with any number of different companies that have facilities both in America and also in Mexico. Okay? They do this. Well, Korea is as much as a capitalist hellscape as the U.S. I know. My point is that Toyota, Honda, Hyundai, and also German car manufacturers as well have heavy labor protections. You know, they're not great, but they are comparably better in their own respective nations. Okay? So if you're a Toyota plant worker in Japan, your respective labor compensation is better than if you are a Toyota plant worker in America or, God forbid, Mexico. Okay? Unionization is so strong in Korea that even Korean food delivery workers have unions. And this is, by the way, South Korea was a brutal military dictatorship that openly executed communists. Okay? Like, conservative estimates show that they executed at least 30,000 and, like, put them in fucking unmarked graves and shit. Okay? And even then, they have more labor union participation. Like, I would never point to South Korea as a robust social democracy, okay? I've heard this fucking argument so many times here in Germany as well. How do we stay competitive if we pay them more? Every single union negotiation, I hear relatives talk like that. The trains are not driving again. How do we stay competitive if we can't even get to work? Same shit, different country. Yeah. It's almost like workers' issues are literally the same across the board internationally, no matter what. It's just pegged to their own personal productive output, of course, and yet the interest, their class interests, remain the same. It's so odd. It's so odd how that works. I mean, even in America, in like entirely unrelated industries like fucking Twitch streaming, okay? I'm a 1099 contracted employee of Amazon, okay? Incredibly well paid. Incredibly well paid. I would never say that that's not the case, right? However, obviously, when contract negotiations are happening, okay, there is still the same issues. It's like, why are you taking this percentage of the revenue that I'm generating for Amazon? Like, why? How do we justify it? Oh, well, you know, Twitch is not a profitable institution. It's like, yes, it is. Twitch's profitability is a matter of a simple accounting trick, okay? Twitch is owned by Amazon. Twitch's largest cost is server operations. AWS is also owned by Amazon. If Amazon chose tomorrow to make Twitch the most profitable country, or most profitable institution in the country, then they would fucking easily do it. They would just say AWS costs are $0. Okay? The reason why I am mentioning this is because it doesn't matter what level of pay you have. Okay? It doesn't matter. If you are a contracted employee or if you're a W-2 salaried employee, if you're making a wage, okay, off of your own productive output, there's always someone bigger at the table that is taking a percentage of that without actually doing the work for you. Okay? That's how it works. Oh God, I hate hearing you try to explain intercompany accounting. Oh my God. I get so fucking annoyed when CPAs get into the weeds. I'm describing it not to someone who is a fucking CPA. I'm describing a concept in very reductive terms deliberately to normal people, okay? Isn't it busy season? Go back to work, you ant. Okay, don't yell at him. But it's very frustrating. Hassan and playing CPAs aren't normal people. Like, what is frustrating about it is that the accountants also personally know how the fuck that works in the other direction, where you can offset costs you can dump costs specifically into like one sector in a company to maximize on your tax benefits, for example. I know the internal calculations of AWS being $0 would make no sense to Amazon because ultimately AWS is one of the most important assets that Amazon owns, okay? And that I understand that there's an opportunity cost to making AWS, like to running AWS for Twitch servers. Like web hosting is very costly, especially for live streaming. I get that, okay? I understand that. Like, if they were to do it for $0 for Twitch, that would imply that like all of the resources they're spending on running the Twitch servers could have been spent elsewhere at a market rate. Like, I get all of that. That's why they don't do it for $0. But ultimately, the point still stands. They own AWS. They could literally charge Twitch $0. Okay? Doesn't matter if they're doing wholesale rates. Doesn't matter if they're doing in-house rates for Twitch. They not only provide AWS for Twitch, but they also technically, I don't know what their internal revenue structure looks like, but they technically have Twitch employees working on one aspect of AWS, IVS. I've talked about this before. See what you did, chatter? Now I don't explain anything he's saying. Anyway, ultimately, it is infinitely easier to just say a simple accounting trick because Amazon owns the most costly parts of Twitch's infrastructure. Okay? Anyway. Fain said Ford has made important new concessions in recent days, including agreeing to reinstate the cost of living adjustments to wages that the union lost around the time of the Great Recession. Many people said this couldn't be done. We just did it, Fain said. Okay? Ford has also agreed to let workers strike over any plant closures during the life of the next contract, a concession that no automaker has allowed before, Fain said. I don't have to tell you that this is an important victory in our fight to save our jobs, keep families together, and keep our communities from being gutted, he said. Okay? UAW officials previously, I work for AWS and running the servers are super expensive. It's not just the infra, but also keeping it up and running without downtime. No, I know that. I know it is the most costly part of Twitch's like the amount, like Twitch's lift. The costliest part of that is AWS. I know that. I know. I've mentioned it so many fucking times, dude. I don't know what's going on with the goddamn mosquitoes in this house, but they're like biting me in the weirdest parts. Like they bit me inside of my hand right here. They bit me inside of like my pinky. Like I don't know where I feel like there's better ways to suck blood on my body. I don't know what the hell this is. Mosquito. 35,000. Anyway. I think all workers should have COLA. Do you think that's feasible? Yes. UAW officials previously communicated to the Biden administration that a Biden visit the picket line would be welcome, but they had not formally invited the president to attend. Union leadership had been frustrated by Biden's announcement last week that the White House was dispatching 2 aides to the talks, a trip that was later canceled after the UAW leadership told the administration to either join the picket line or not come at all. Love that. Also love that Trump basically fucking kind of forced the Brandon administration's hand a little bit here by saying he was going to go and attend the UAW, participate in the UAW pickets, even though he wasn't ever going to do that. Okay? I love that. But what do I love more? Well, I love Bob Menendez. So let's get back to that. That was a really good breaking news update, so I wanted to cover that. And we will get into what the fuck? This is insane. This drip is nutty. I need this. Okay. We'll get into the UAW Sean Fain thing more. Let's get back to Bobbert Menendez, my favorite
the chairman
Italian.
of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, and his wife Nadine Menendez, engaged in a corrupt relationship with Hannah, Uribe, and Davies. The indictment alleges that through that relationship, the senator and his wife accepted hundreds of thousands of dollars of bribes in exchange for Senator Menendez using his power and influence to protect and to enrich those businessmen and to benefit the government of Egypt. The indictment alleges that Hannah, Uribe, and Davies provided bribes in the form of cash, gold, home mortgage payments, a low-show or a no-show job for Nadine Menendez, a Mercedes-Benz, and other things of value to the senator and his wife. Now, constituent service is part of any legislator's job. Senator Menendez is no different. And as we explain in the indictment, there are things that Senator Menendez says he can do for his constituents.
$100 million deal and he's only making thousands, shaking my head. Dude, first of all, that's good money. Like the $100 million is going there anyway. You know what I mean? He's literally getting money. No, he's getting money for a deal that was going to happen anyway. So for him, it's like he's just getting paid extra, which, by the way, is almost like it's more than half of the congressional yearly salary anyway, right? It's just free fucking money.
And things that he says he cannot do for his constituents. He put it all on his Senate website. So for instance, it says he cannot compel an agency to act in someone's favor. It says he cannot influence matters involving a private business. It says he cannot get involved in criminal matters or cases, period. But we allege that behind the scenes, Senator Menendez was doing those things for certain people, the people who were bribing him and his wife. Now let me say a little bit more about the conduct that's alleged in the indictment. The indictment alleges that Senator Menendez took several actions as part of this corrupt relationship. First, the indictment alleges that Senator Menendez used his power and influence, including his leadership role on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, to benefit the government of Egypt in various ways. Among other actions, Senator Menendez allegedly provided sensitive, non-public U.S. government information to Egyptian officials and otherwise took steps to secretly aid the government of Egypt. We also allege that Senator Menendez improperly pressured a senior official at the U.S. Department of Agriculture to protect a lucrative monopoly that the government of Egypt had awarded to Hana, a lucrative monopoly that Hana then used to fund certain bribe payments. Second, the indictment alleges that Senator Menendez used his power and influence to try to disrupt a criminal investigation and prosecution undertaken by the New Jersey Attorney General's office related to an associate and a relative of Uribe. Third, the indictment alleges that Senator Menendez used his power and influence to try to disrupt a federal prosecution of Davies in the District of New Jersey in two ways. First, by seeking to install a United States attorney who he thought could be influenced with respect to Davies, and second, by trying to influence that office to act favorably in Davies' case. And as we allege in the indictment, the senator agreed to do these things and use his power in this way because Hana was paying bribes, because Uribe was paying bribes, and because Davies was paying bribes. Fortunately, the public officials the senator sought to influence did not bend to the pressure. That's a good thing. Now, as part of this investigation, special agents with the FBI executed search warrants on the residence and safe deposit box of Senator Menendez and Nadine Menendez in New Jersey. When they got there, they discovered approximately $500,000 of cash stuffed into envelopes and closets. Some of the cash was stuffed in the senator's jacket pockets. Some of the envelopes of cash contained Davies' fingerprints or Davies' DNA. That's not all. Agents also discovered a lot of gold that was provided by Davies and Hana. And the FBI, of course, found the Mercedes-Benz that Uribe had provided them. Now, the items that the FBI uncovered are discussed in the indictment, which I encourage all of you to read carefully. Let's take a look at just some of the items. So as you can see here, this is the Mercedes-Benz that we allege that Uribe provided as part of the scheme. What you see here are 3 kilograms of gold. These 3 kilograms together are worth approximately $150,000.
See, Bob didn't even need to Google it. There you go. They did it for him. It's so awesome. I love American politics so much. It's so stupid. It's so silly. It's so great. How do you fail at bribery in the USA? Dude, I don't get it. It's legal. It's legal. It's legal. It's basically legal. It's more legal than jaywalking, okay? Jaywalking is technically illegal, which means like it's up to the officers to not fucking charge you with it or choose to do it, okay? This, on the other hand, bribery is absolutely fucking legal. It's legal. You can just do it above board. Okay? Yeah, he could have just like done a talk in Egypt and got like a speaking fee or something. Because it's not like the money that he is the funds and I think like the weapons that they were sending to Egypt were like outside of the norm, right?
And of course, here you can see just a fraction of the cash that was uncovered as part of the scheme. Now, I want to make a couple of things very clear. First, my office remains firmly committed to rooting out public corruption without fear or favor and without any regard to partisan politics. That's in our DNA. Always has been, always will be. And second,
okay, well, have you considered that it was in Bob's DNA to do side deals and side hustles? Hustle culture is in our DNA. Okay? It's kind of fucked up. Especially coming after a fucking Italian man like this is so unjust. So incredibly unjust. This is exactly what Trump was talking about when he said the entire Department of Justice is just rotten to its very core. Okay? Senator Bobbert Menendez was doing hustle culture. It is in his Italian DNA. What's next? Are we going to prosecute Italians for being creepy to women? Is that what we're going to do? Italian Americans are now going to be prosecuted for getting handsy sometimes? In the words of Andrew Cuomo, I'm not perverted, I'm Italian. Stop saying he's Cuban. Bob Menendez is not a Cuban man. He is not capable of being a Cuban man. He is, after all, a New Jersey senator. There is nothing more Italian than being in fucking office in the state of New Jersey. Sorry, I will not believe you. Okay? I will not believe you when you tell me, oh yeah, he's not Italian, he's actually he's actually Cuban. Like, boo, you're wrong. You're wrong, okay? You're wrong. You can't be out here stuffing your coat jackets with money and gold bullions or whatever those things are, and then turn around and be like, this is a Cuban man. No, this is an Italian man. These are Italian activities.
This investigation is very much ongoing. We are not done.
I hate this. We didn't even do anything, bro. Just loves hating Italians. Okay, these are jokes, man. Chill out, everybody.
Anyone with information to come forward and to come forward quickly. And they can do that by reaching out to the FBI's tip line at 1-800-CALL-FBI. Now, a case of this magnitude requires tremendous partnership. And I want to thank our partners at the FBI who have been with us since day one and have been absolutely incredible every step along the way. I also want to thank our partners at the IRS for their assistance in this investigation. I want to thank our colleagues from around the Department of Justice, who are far too many to name here and to thank specifically, but they have also been invaluable. And of course, I want to thank the career prosecutors from my office who are handling this investigation. They have done tremendous work. Eli Mark, Laura Pomerantz, Dan Richenthal, Paul Monteleone, and their supervisors, Rebecca Donaleski and Maureen Comey, the chiefs of our office's public corruption unit. I now want to invite up to the podium FBI Assistant Director in Charge, James Smith. Jim.
Good morning. So I'm not going to go any further into the case as the U.S. Attorney Damian Williams explained, but what I want to talk about more or less is, hey, the FBI's the FBI investigating public corruption is one of our top priorities, and we will continue to investigate public corruption cases.
It is.
I want to thank the agents, the team over here from the FBI, the IRS, for their hard work into this investigation. They've spent many hours and days and weeks and months working this investigation. I would also like to thank all the prosecutors from the Southern District of New York. I'd like to thank Damian Williams for his support in this particular case. I would like to thank the IRS for all their investigators who worked tirelessly along with the team here to investigate this case. Then I would also finally like to thank the DOJ's Public Integrity Section. So thank you very much for all your support in this.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Let's talk more about this. Elliot Williams, talk to me about your reaction to this. Specifically, I'm really interested in, we're talking about a sitting U.S. Senator who is the chair of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, and you're talking about...
Dude, this is so sick. I mean, God, I love that. Okay? It's hard. It's hard not to fucking love it, folks. Oh my God. I love Rethuglicans getting locked up or getting caught up in some kind of criminal investigation for their many wrongdoings. I love it when it happens to Democrats too. A lot of people will come in here and be like, Hassan, I bet you wouldn't like it if they did this to a Democrat. Whenever I'm like talking about fucking, I don't know, lock him up, drain the swamp on a Rethuglican, right? And it's like, nope, here it is. There you go. I'm excited. I'm here for it. I love it. It's fucking awesome.
You just heard a U.S. attorney say that he was working to benefit the government of Egypt.
Not good. And moreover, what's interesting is the manner in which the exchange of favors, if you want to call them that, plays out is often through his wife. The way...
Bro, okay, dude. Come on, dog. Come on, dude. I'm not going to elaborate further, but come on, dude.
The indictment is structured. There are a number of statements and communications made between Senator Menendez and his wife, and allegedly between Senator Menendez's wife and some of the other people who are charged that lead to these actions that the prosecutors.
The fucking Menendez crime family, okay?
Are saying that Senator Menendez engaged in. But it's incredibly serious when you are speaking of non-public information being provided to foreign actors. A point I noted in our earlier segment was, the fact that at least one of these conversations that they recount is a phone call that happens to officials, I believe, it might have even been Egyptian officials directly, outside of the presence of Senator Menendez's staff. Now, look, as a former Senate staffer, I can tell you, you can't always control what the boss is doing. Sometimes he'll pick up the phone and place phone calls and so on. This goes beyond that when you're talking about, number one, the seriousness of it, and number two, the allegation that he was being directed to do so, or at least being compensated or reimbursed for his doing so. That really jumped out to me, and is itself something that prosecutors, I'm certain, would hammer in front of the jury as very suspicious conduct from someone, as you said, Kate, has an official position and has people around him that ought to be probably were attempting to protect him from engaging in conduct like this.
Okay. Someone said Doubloon Gate 2023. Thank you. That's incredible. Okay, that's number one. Number two, if you thought we were done with the Menendez saga, you are wrong, my friend. Here's Charlie Kirk, who also gave his 2 cents on Bobbert Menendez getting fucking indicted for corruption. Let's see what kind of incredible takes we'll hear. I mean, certainly he'll say, wow, this is good. This is great. I'm glad that it's happening, and end it there. Or talk about how, like, the Democrats are corrupt or whatever, right? Because, like, that's what I would say in this situation. That's what I have said so far. Let's see how he will react to this situation.
It's important to understand the way that the fourth branch of government operates is with intentionality. There are no mistakes. There are no indictments without the right hand knowing what the left hand is doing. So the first most obvious takeaway is important. They're doing this to create the appearance of impartiality.
Oh, okay. He's the fall guy. Dude, Bob Menendez is the fall guy. Oh, yeah, by the way, this is pretty funny. Flashback, Trump congratulated Senator Bob Menendez for beating corruption charges. Trump thought he was talking to Menendez in 2018 in a 2018 prank call. Trump, how are you? Congratulations on everything. We're proud of you. Great job. You went through a tough situation, and I don't think a very fair situation. Because it's cool because like he also is like, you know, he's just in it. Like he's an appreciator of crooked deals. You know what I mean? And like bad phone calls that you make to facilitate, you know, bribery or even holding up, you know, foreign aid or whatever, or military aid, whatever control you have over a certain aspect of Congress. Yeah, real recognize real, game recognizes game. That's why he's just a fan of phone calls, which was a perfect one. You know, Bob Menendez had perfect phone calls, perfect phone text messages. Nadine Menendez had some perfect text messages we saw. So I wonder how Charlie Kirk can speak so loudly with a face with more negative space than failed art students painting. It's a special skill.
So that they can continue their jihad against Donald Trump. So that under oath, they could say, well, as you can see, we have active indictments against Menendez and Hunter Biden, which gives us.
So wait, that means like, okay, that's two separate Democrats that they are currently prosecuting, and only one guy on the Republican side, I guess. So what's up? I mean, Hunter Biden's not even a fucking politician, so it's so stupid. But like, they have treated him as one. So, do you see the clip of Charlie getting yelled at a college campus? I have not.
A mandate to go after Bannon and Donald Trump and Douglas Mackey, et cetera, et cetera. So it is the appearance of impartiality. And they do this low-hanging fruit indictment. It's important to understand. The way that the fourth branch of government operates is with intentionality. There are no mistakes.
I don't know. Like, I don't know what goes on. They're so fucking creative. Like, I guess it's kind of cool. Oh, also Menendez Jr. Has the congressional seat in the 8th district, by the way. And of course, the New Jersey Democrats pushed him. Menendez is familiar with the district, which includes most of Hudson County. His father, Senator Bob Menendez, represented much of the area for more than a decade before he was elected to the U.S. Senate in 2006. So, I love that. In an interview, Menendez discusses upbringing in Union City, a dense working-class Hudson County community that has long attracted Cuban immigrants. Like his grandparents, his father was an elected official by the time he was 19 when he captured a seat on the Union City School Board, and his mother was a teacher. The story of his grandparents who came to America to seek a better life drives me every single day, he said. And of course, his politics, I can't speak for his son. I don't really know him that well, but his father's politics are exactly what you would think of a Cuban American in that age group. Okay, he's very, very conservative. One of the more conservative senators. Kind of weird to suspect that he is so conservative, considering that he is, a fucking New Jersey senator from. A Democratic senator from New Jersey. Governor Murphy has called, who, by the way, I do like, for the record, calls on Senator Menendez to resign, calling the allegations deeply disturbing, and that the alleged facts are so serious that they compromise the ability of Senator Menendez to effectively represent the people of our state. This is yet another instance where the Anglo-Saxon Protestant attacks an Italian man, though. Make no mistake. Governor Murphy, not Italian. The least Italian-coded man from New Jersey you can get. So what is he going to do? He's going to take down an Italian man. That's what he's trying to do, okay? So, Murphy fucking sucks. No way, dude. I mean, all things considered, in comparison to, Christopher Christie, for example. He's all right. Irish-Italian violence takes another life. Yeah. So, where were we? So we talked about Bob Menendez's son. Oh, his performance in the last election was, the one in 2018 was not great in the primary, where Lindsey McCormick, apparently a virtual unknown who did not spend any money on the race, received almost support from 4 out of the 10 Democratic voters. So it's not like there isn't an appetite to unseat Menendez, as far as I understand it. Okay? Not looking too good. The Dallas mayor defection we'll cover in a little bit. Okay? But now that we've uncovered the Menendez saga thoroughly, let's move on to the UAW and Sean Fain. We already talked about Sean Fain in the updates. I already Brandon confirmed it earlier. But here is what Sean Fain is saying, as Brandon is going to join the picket line on Tuesday, which is huge, which is very good.
UAW family, before we get started, I want to note a major organizing
He's dripped out the wazoo. Before we get started, I'm dripped out the fucking wazoo.
Victory for our union. Last night, 2,900 graduate workers at Northeastern University voted by an overwhelming 94% to form their union with the UAW. Congratulations first and foremost to these workers who have fought a multi-year effort against intense employer opposition to win their union. And also to Regional Director Brandon Mancia and Lead Organizer Josh Gilbert for their great work on this effort. In Region 1, 400 workers at Lear, the auto parts supplier, just joined Local 155. President William Verdier and Recording Secretary Sylvanus Thomas worked hard to help bring these workers into our union. From auto to higher ed and everywhere in between, our union is organizing, growing, and building our power. It's not just new organizing, it's on the picket line too. Our 1,400 UAW members at Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan just marked a week on strike. For years, the insurer has been outsourcing their work. Our UAW family at Blue Cross Blue Shield was once 5,000 strong. Today it's shrunk down to just 1,400. And the workers that are left are stuck in a tiered system where it...
By the way, I want to point out something to all the fucking aesthetic Marxists and whatnot who claim to be on the side of the working class, who regularly said, without even recognizing that, like, so many of these other unions are under the umbrella of the United Auto Workers, by the way, when every single time graduate students would fucking strike, they'd be like, oh, these guys are pussies. They're not real. They're not real working class people. They're grad students. They're gay. It's like, yeah, except they're also under the fucking UAW banner. So, like, it just immediately, in my opinion, demonstrates that you have no fucking clue what you're talking about. Okay, you have no clue what you're talking about. You're completely oblivious. Who said that? Lamau? What do you mean? Fucking Twitter, dog. Even when I go to a SAG-AFTRA picket or a WGA picket, half of the fucking rugged Marxist-Leninists on Twitter or the fucking leftists on Twitter with hammer and sickles in their goddamn, in their goddamn bio will chirp at me about how, like, these are petit bourgeois or whatever the fuck. Like, I don't give a shit about, like, genuine proletarian solidarity. I'm not there at the picket line when railroad workers are striking or whatever the fuck. And it's stupid because it is literally reactionary rhetoric from people who have not read a single fucking piece of Marxist literature that just simply repeat fucking memes, okay? Anyway, I hate it. 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 Let's continue.
It takes 22 years to get to top pay. Our members have said enough is enough, and they are being strongly supported by Secretary-Treasurer Margaret Mock, Region 1A Director LaShawn English, and Region 1D Director Steve Dawes. They are all working together to raise awareness and build public support for this critical fight. Just yesterday, members of Local 259 in Region 9A struck for one day after their employer, an Infiniti dealership on Long Island, refused to come to the bargaining table. Management was suddenly quick to move, and they have set new dates for the negotiations. And at ZF in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, in Region 8, nearly 200 members of Local 2083 who make front axles for Mercedes are on strike after voting down a contract that would have raised healthcare costs, maintained tiers, and left workers behind economically.
Like, one way that people also shit on union mobilization or like labor movements or any kind of revolutionary activity is by saying, oh, they're just like simply academics. Like, students play a fucking huge role in historic labor action, okay? It's always two different planks, oftentimes maybe even at odds when it comes to sectarian violence or when it comes down to sectarian infighting in general. Peasants, students, and the academics. Those are like the two major motherfuckers that are always out to play, okay? Those are the guys. It's the youth with revolutionary potential, and it's also the people who have, peasant jobs. We never go after the bankers? What do you mean? You are a psycho if you think college students in the United States, some of the most in-debt, desperate people are bourgeoisie. No, they're oblivious, dude. It's all aesthetics. That's why, because Television Man has told them that, like, going to college is a privilege, okay? And you're like a rich gay guy if you go to college, because that's what rich gay guys do. It's like, just like the only working class individual in America is a fucking coal miner, okay? There's no other guy. Which, by the way, coal miners have also been on strike for almost a year plus now, specifically because their company basically shuttered its doors or claimed it was going to shutter its doors and then refused to pay them their last... where the fuck was it? Hold on. I'll give you guys more details on that. I mean, I've covered it before. Here. Here. The Alabama mining strike at Warrior Met Coal was one of the longest in U.S. history, but the price of coal soared during the walkout, giving the company leverage. The Alabama mining strike ended without a deal after nearly 2 years. Yeah, the ones that blocked the tracks. If you recall, I talked about it. Because hundreds of coal miners in Alabama have been told by their union that they can start returning to work before a contract deal has been reached, bringing in unceremonious and one of the longest mining strikes in U.S. history. The move by United Mine Workers of America to conclude its nearly 2-year work stoppage is a blow to the union, a storied and powerful labor organization, which has been pushing for higher pay and improved working conditions at the Warrior Met Coal mine near Tuscaloosa. They also left the picket line and either returned to work before or went to work at other companies. Like, there wasn't enough like support for it, and it took way too long. Some people were like, literally, they were just like, I'm dying, you know what I mean? I have to feed my family. So if you're a worker that's striking, remember to practice your boxing in case Crowder shows up. That's funny. All right, let's
is looking more likely than ever.
Oh, sorry. As I was saying, with the UAW situation, they're a very powerful union, and that's a good thing, and so powerful that even Brandon is showing up. It could be a symbolic reason. I mean, it is a symbolic purpose. I don't think Brandon is like a person who is personally invested in the unions being viable, successful, getting all their demands. I don't think he gives a shit from an ideological perspective, but this is good for his, it's good politics, it's good policy, it helps his chances, it makes him look better, and it boosts his public profile, so I'm a fan. I like it. Yeah, a lot of critical votes in Michigan, Ohio, Minnesota, etc. Good. This is the best time in modern U.S. history with all these strikes to try and even the pay field. Are things going to move in the right direction, you think? No, I don't. I mean, I think that overall, we talked about the UAW wins on the big three so far. I mean, if you compare it, to any other time in U.S. history, our labor union participation in the workforce is marginal. It's tiny. It's like, barely 10%. These wins are good, and union activity is good, and it's getting like decent coverage. There's a lot of popularity for union activity in America, but the reality is that it hasn't yielded more union participation or more aspects of the American industry engaging in the act of unionization. And part of that is literally because we don't have a serious manufacturing industry. We don't have manufacturing in this country. It's far cheaper to manufacture overseas. So a lot of our economy now revolves around service industry jobs. And also, even worse than service industry jobs, which at least get a fucking salary, right? Contracted work like Uber Eats, Postmates delivery, things of that nature. So the gig economy is very, very difficult to unionize.
Speaker Kevin McCarthy has sent lawmakers home.
Now we're going to move on to Kevin McCarthy. We now officially are going, we're 8 days into the government shutdown. Big, scary moment. Okay? Big, scary moment. The government's going to shut down, folks. Who knows what'll happen? I mean, it's the fucking dumbest country on the planet. Oh, it kills me. 8 days until the government shut down, and 22 minutes since the top of the hour came by and passed, and I forgot to serve you a top of the hour ad break. So I guess between me and Kevin McCarthy, we're both doing a bad job today, folks. We're both doing a bad job. But at the top of the hour, or 22 minutes into the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break. And if you no longer want to see those ads, well, then all you need to do is subscribe for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime. Or you can get gifted a sub. Here's the 3-minute ad break now. Let's continue.
A government shutdown is looking more likely than ever. Speaker Kevin McCarthy has sent lawmakers home for a long weekend, even though there are only 8 days left until funding will run out. It comes after another epic failure for McCarthy on the House floor as he continues to struggle with a GOP rebellion.
Now, conservative hardliners once again tanked his defense spending bill, second time in just 3 days, making it clear it does not have enough Republican votes to move forward on that bill or to prevent a shutdown altogether.
It's frustrating in the sense that I don't understand why anybody votes against bringing the idea and having the debate. And then you got all the...
It's like, bro, do you not, like, I mean, you know how this works, dog. I don't get it. You know how this fucking works.
Amendments if you don't like the bill. This is a whole new concept of individuals that just want to burn the whole place down. That doesn't work.
President Biden is blasting House Republicans for leaving Washington at such a critical moment. On X, formerly known as Twitter, he writes, quote, "Last time there was a government shutdown, 800,000 Americans were furloughed or worked without pay, but enjoy your weekend." CNN congressional correspondent Lauren Fox is live for us in Washington. I'm sorry, like I'm trying to figure out what the plan is, what the pathway is, what they're doing today, what they may do on Tuesday. Is there an outcome anywhere in sight?
Well, welcome to the club, Phil. It's what we've all been trying to figure out for the last couple of weeks since lawmakers returned from their August recess. Right now, the plan is, and wait for it, they are going to try to pass 11 individual spending bills in just 8 days before a government shutdown. All bills, we should mention, that would be dead on arrival in the United States Senate. But they have abandoned that plan for a short-term stopgap measure because there were so many conservatives who were opposed to it and made clear to the speaker that they would never get to yes on a short-term spending bill known as a continuing resolution. So what they are doing now is trying to pass these individual appropriations bills. But we should point out, one of those bills failed on the floor for the second time yesterday. A procedural step went up in flames because there were conservatives who voted down advancing the measure. So right now, Kevin McCarthy has a problem because he has a right flank that doesn't seem to be willing to vote for anything. And I asked a number of members yesterday, at this point, is there just a coalition in the House that wants to embarrass House Speaker Kevin McCarthy? And the argument I got from some members is they'll get to yes on something, they have individual issues, but trying to find a way where your conservatives and your moderates can all agree, that's a problem. Here are two of those members, Matt Gaetz and Lawler, talking about their different views of what's happening right now.
There will not be sufficient Republican votes for...
Oh my God, what the fuck? That's illegal. That's illegal. This fit is abysmal, dog. You should not be allowed.
a continuing resolution. Now, if we've got some of these moderate Republicans who want to go and join up with the Democrats, they will be signing their own political death warrant, and they will be handing it to their executioner.
I am not going to be party to a shutdown. It does not serve a purpose. At the end of the day, any final bill is going to be bipartisan. And if somebody doesn't realize that, they're truly clueless.
And rank and file members have left Washington, but the House Rules Committee is going to meet today to try to kick off that process of voting on these individual spending bills. But again, it is such a last-minute gambit, and given the fact that there are only 8 days, it's not likely to go well.
Joining me now is Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell from California. Congressman, welcome to your long weekend. Is this the right time for Congress to be taking days off?
No, we should be working, John, for working people. They are the ones who count on us. And it's our troops, it's our cops, it's border agents, it's air traffic controllers, the people we depend on to keep us safe and keep us moving, who will not be paid unless we fund the government. And I just want to...
Who's this goofy goober man? Excuse me. That goofy goober man had sex with a Chinese spy. Okay? Hello? He also ran for president, which is pretty funny. But anyway. That's Shanghai Swalwell? Yeah. Swell Eric, dude. My mom just told me about a thing called Project 2025. Never heard of it. Dude, what is happening with this Project 2025 shit? What is it, like an American Enterprise Institute thing? Like they're doing their own World Economic Forum thing? Or something? Or is the Heritage Foundation one of those guys?
Say, John, one thing here does not look like the others. That's a nursery rhyme from Sesame Street. I tell my children all the time. House Democrats, Senate Democrats, Senate Republicans, and the White House have all worked together to come up with a plan to fund the government, but it's House Republicans who want to shut it down. And so it's time that they join the rest of us and choose competence over chaos. Otherwise, people are going to get hurt.
Burn the whole place down. That is what House Speaker Kevin McCarthy is accusing a handful of Republicans, 5, 6, or 7, depending on how you count it. He's accusing these 5, 6, or 7 of gumming up the whole thing. How much sympathy do you have for McCarthy's predicament?
Zero, because he is a spectator speaker right now. I've watched him on the floor as he has been losing those votes. He just watches the board. There's a board, your viewers should know this, that has every member's name and how they vote, and he just stands there with his hand in his pocket watching the votes. And that's because he thinks he can only pass this with Republican votes because he's afraid if he uses Democratic votes, he won't be speaker. Well, John, he can be a spectator speaker or he can be a leader. And a leader would go to Democrats, just as Mitch McConnell and Senator Schumer have done in the Senate, and say, give us the votes to keep the government open. I'll put it on the bill. We'll save the cops. We'll save the border agents. We'll save the troops from losing their pay. Do it for the country instead of doing it for the chaos.
So there are some Republicans who say if McCarthy does that, goes to you for help, that they will throw him
For the record, of course he's saying save the cops. Like, this is a Democrat, and they're trying to fucking max out the damage to the Republicans. Like, the narrative is going to be like, oh, they don't want the military to be fucking... Yeah, Project 2025 is a far-right plan to reshape the U.S. federal government in the event of a Republican victory in the 2024 United States presidential election, all led by Paul Dance, who was Heritage Foundation. Okay, I was wrong. It wasn't a American Enterprise. It was Heritage.
out as Speaker. Would you be willing to help McCarthy keep his job as Speaker if he did reach across the aisle for assistance to get these spending bills through?
Well, John, this isn't about one person's job, right? This is millions of people who won't get paid in their own job. And by the way, I would like to think that Kevin McCarthy could get another job if he wasn't Speaker, but I serve with a lot of people who think this is the only job that they could get, and so they do a lot of things because they're afraid of losing their job. So again, why don't he show the same honor that, you know, Mitt Romney has shown throughout the years in choosing what's right over his job? And I promise you, once he figures that out, he'll see that the Democrats will work with him, as we did the pay America's bills and lift the debt ceiling. We'll do that on the shutdown. We'll do that to fund Ukraine. And they don't even have a plan B. And the second he realizes that these chaos agents don't have a plan B and they don't even want a plan B, he'll be a stronger speaker and the country will be better off.
Joining us now is Republican Congressman from Montana.
Okay, I'm done. All right. I'll hear what the Republican is saying on it.
Ryan Zinke, he's a member of that Appropriations Committee. He's been at the center of this process, and that's kind of where I want to start, because as an appropriator, you understand, A, the work that goes into spending bills, and B, I think the time it takes to reconcile them with the other side, to get them to the White House when it's controlled by the opposite party. My sense is the plan now is to pass 11 spending bills. You have 8 days. I'm not sure how this doesn't lead to a shutdown. Am I wrong?
Well, and you look at where we're at. As a former Navy SEAL, I can tell you, never go against the troops. And we failed, and I would say Republicans. Remember, we got zero Democrat help as well, but we failed protecting our country with the defense bill. The defense bill, I can tell you, is an...
Bro, Netflix fucked up. This is Admiral Garp. Okay? Sorry, this is the one moment for the One Piece fans. This is literally... I mean, he was a fucking... He's what is he? He's literally a Marine, okay? Come on. This is what Garp should look like and does look like in the real world. Okay? Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun.
is important, and right behind it is the Homeland Security bill, which is of course, our board.
I also don't think that Garp I don't think that Garp should have had a British accent. I think this accent and this voice sounds better.
Order. So I think our focus right now is to make sure we get the 3 most important bills across. That's our defense. Secondly, our border.
Oh, Scottish,
and
sorry.
Third, make sure we protect our veterans. We get those 3 across, and I think as long as the Senate picks them up, I think we'll avert a shutdown. And let me tell you, as a former secretary, a shutdown is not a good thing. The troops aren't going to get paid, and a secretary has a lot of latitude what he deems or he or she deems critical and essential. So an administration that wants to do a lot of harm has a lot of latitude. An administration, in my case, I didn't shut down the parks. I kept permits going. So a secretary has a lot of latitude in a shutdown, and we do not want to shut down.
You make a great point. You have a perspective because you've been in the executive branch during these moments before. These are arguments that have been made to a number of your members who, to some degree, sound like they want a shutdown. They're almost urging a shutdown at this point. Why do you think that's the case?
Well, you have a handful. Sometimes it's a media hit, et cetera. But, I was sitting here to do 2 things. Curb the spending.
Okay, whatever. I'm done. Also, fuck Chris Christie. I'm done on that part, too. We already covered Sean Fain. Oh, my God.
Damn, this guy's good.